Cybersecurity specialists are scrambling to investigate what could be the largest global ransomware attack in history. Friday's attack targeted the Miami-based software provider Kaseya. It compromised as many as 1,500 organizations' systems in at least 17 countries. The Russian-linked cybercrime group REvil says it is responsible for the hack. It is demanding a $70 million ransom in Bitcoin to unlock the affected software. While Kaseya's services tend to focus on small businesses like restaurants and accounting firms, several larger organizations say they have been impacted as well. For example, nearly a dozen schools in New Zealand were forced to close because of the attack. And most of the 800 co-op grocery stores in Sweden remain closed because of issues with its cash registers software. CBSN technology reporter Dan Patterson joins us now for more on the latest ransomware attack. Hi, Dan. Wow, so we have certainly seen a wave of ransomware attacks carried out against critical U.S. infrastructure, I guess not just U.S. infrastructure, certainly in this case. Why was Kaseya targeted in this attack?
Hi, Tanya. So Cassandra was targeted kind of for very similar reasons. Look, they are an IT management software company. That sounds kind of boring. Good. It should be. They are a critical component of what's known as the software supply chain. And a lot like a physical manufacturing supply chain. Let's say if the brakes in one model of car were tampered with, it would spoil all the cars. Well, Kaseya operates somewhat similarly in the software supply chain. And in this case, hackers used what's called zero-day vulnerabilities to exploit Kaseya, allowing them to access all of these other companies attached to them downstream in the supply chain there. So what's really important to kind of recognize here is that the company fit the profile of a victim. Look, they had access to a lot of software, they had access to capital, and there were vulnerabilities in their system that allowed them to be exploited by criminal actors. It's a familiar story.
And here they are now, exploited by REvil, or at least that's what REvil is saying. And it's now requesting $70 million in, I guess not dollars, $70 million in Bitcoin payment to unlock these systems. We know a portion of the ransom for the Colonial Pipeline attack was returned. Are REvil likely to get this payment? And where does the money go in these ransomware attacks exactly?
So in this case, it could be that this $70 million Bitcoin ransom request for a universal decryptor could be, at least according to a lot of the sources I spoke with who are familiar with cyber criminal operations, this could be kind of an oh crap, get out of jail card. The organization says that they had a hard time meeting the requests of all of the vendors. Initially, they asked for about $5 million from each victim, and they just couldn't scale to meet the demand. Think of this kind of similar to a startup company, right? If you experience unexpected success overnight, it's hard to scale to meet that success. Now, this is the cyber world, so not everything is as it appears, but this is what the company claimed. So this is why they may have created this universal decryptor. It might let them kind of, like the Homer Simpson's gif, kind of like back away slowly from this hack.
But that means that somebody's going to have to pony up the $70 million. And as you know, as we were saying earlier, a lot of the companies affected are small, like restaurants, schools. So that means it's going to fall on the shoulders of one of the big companies to pony it up. Is that right? Are they likely to cooperate here?
Yeah, it could. Look, there are individuals in companies, cybersecurity experts, who will negotiate, act as a third party. Often these things are settled for less than the requested amount. And crypto wallets are not always secure. Like we saw with the Colonial Pipeline hack, some money was, the law enforcement was able to return some money. So cryptocurrency itself is it's not the motivator, but it's a good way to launder money. But it's not a perfect anonymous system. Law enforcement agents do kind of follow the crypto trail and the forensic trail. So there is this kind of weird chess game that's now happening between the victims, the cyber actors, and law enforcement on what actually gets paid and when.
And Dan, is there no way to beat these guys without paying the ransom? I mean, are there some cyber experts who could crack this code somehow and free these companies? Or is there absolutely no way around it without, REvil's universal key?
There are some workarounds, but oftentimes the targets are chosen specifically, and the ransom amounts are set at an amount that is usually pretty easy to pay. And oftentimes this is less than the amount it might take to recover your data, or less time than it would take to negotiate to get your data back. This is kind of a clever tactic. Again, these aren't just random thugs. These are organized, sophisticated cyber criminal operations, and they have some strategic goals and some tactics that usually help them achieve those goals.
That's interesting. They set the ransom at a sweet spot that makes you're saying the companies sort of go, well, it's it's a pain, but it's going to cost me less than trying to work around this, for months or maybe years. Interesting. So they have a strategy, Dan.
It's easy for all of us to say, don't pay the ransomer, because then you simply create incentive for the next ransom. But when you're the victim of a hack, you want it to be over, and sometimes paying is the way to get it, to get systems back up and running normally.
Dan Patterson, as always, thank you so much for joining us and shedding some light into this very interesting and strange corner of the dark web. We appreciate it.
It's good to see you.